Rolling intro.
Let's go.
You know, it's been a long time since anybody's got to hear the Jank say this on Source TV. So I'm gonna be nice, and I'm gonna let Jank start us off.
I don't even know how to start now. Welcome back to the Source Shoe, and today's episode is this is a very controversial. So,
Pretty serious.
This is actually pretty serious enough. For those who know, within the FGC and Smash community and around the world, what's been going on, there's been a whole issue with I guess it first started initially.
Actually, this has always been happening. It's just it's just discovered now.
Now it's coming to light. Now that everyone's is getting the courage to talk about certain things like this. Now it's coming up. People.
I was gonna say
Greg,
something.
Greg, go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
I was gonna mention it later. Keep talking. No, keep going.
No, but with rape allegations, people doing racist things, especially with the Me Too movement stuff going on and Black Lives Matter and this police brutality stuff.
Speaking Out movement, which is basically Me Too movement 2.0.
Basically. In recent I guess the two initial ones that I saw start. I mean, I know there's other ones too. It started out initially with Filipino Champ, and this was right around the time the Floyd guy died and all this stuff. So for those who don't know, Filipino Champ is by far he's the villain, one of the main villain antagonists when it comes to FGC. He plays
was. And then the Budweiser came along.
He hasn't been really going to tournaments lately or whatever and stuff like that. Because I guess he don't like Street Fighter and no Marvel Scout games, whatever. So after the incident was going on with the police brutality and everything, he posted a picture and it was initially a watermelon. It was a giant watermelon. And it basically said, "Watermelons live matter." And you know how that went.
Huh.
Some people took it the wrong way, and it was just bad timing. And everyone's very sensitive the way it is now. It can go either way.
I think he trolled because I'm on Twitter every day. On Twitter, everybody was just talking about systematic racism. I guess he got tired of it, so he just trolled everybody.
Well, according from what the live stream I saw and everything, because it was kind of interesting. Well, because it was him and a bunch of people with him. He was like, man, I'm friends with black people and stuff. I didn't mean it like this. It was just according to what he said, the scenario was that he went to the store to get a watermelon. And it was a really huge one, and he just wrote "watermelon lives matter," and he just thought it would be a funny joke. That's all, because he was really anxious to eat this huge watermelon. That was the initial, but
I doubt that because watermelon is such a obvious black stereotype. Exactly. And the timing of it was so odd.
Exactly.
He was trying to be. I don't think he's racist. I think he was just being
edgy
I don't
with
think
he was either. But
he was just edgy joking. Yeah, he was telling a super edgy joke, and it was bad timing. It was too soon. Yeah, that's what happened.
And then of course he did whole stream. He apologized and all this stuff. But long story short, the quick version with that, he got banned from basically all Capcom tournaments.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them. Was it Lifetime? They said Lifetime, right?
Yeah, Lifetime ban.
Wow, that's too harsh. That's too harsh.
Yeah, it was like a Lifetime. I have to double check, but don't quote me on. But I'm pretty sure it was Lifetime. I know it's all tournaments.
That's what the video
I just don't remember if it's Lifetime or not. That's the question. I don't remember.
Damn.
And then everyone's like, "Oh, blah blah blah," and then if one person gets on blast, another person gets on blast, and then later on they brought up, "Well, what about Chris G?" What he did years ago, and long story short, with him, he said a legit racial slur to somebody, and then that was about I think 4 or 5 years ago that happened. He actually had a year ban from tournaments, and he served his time. And people brought back to light. It was like, well, what about A, B, and C? Now that he did this and this, and there's a middle where it's like the other half is like, well, he served his time, it's done. why bring it back up again? Then there's other half like, no, if we're going to do this to this person, we might as well do this to him. So he ended up getting banned and getting dropped from his sponsor. So, which is for those who don't know, his sponsor is Evil Geniuses, which is fairly big, and Chris G is probably one of the biggest, the top players from that group organization.
Yeah, from that group.
So
Chris G fell off a little bit. He makes like top 16. He doesn't make like top 8s anymore. Like he
but he used to be like the top 8 person.
Yeah.
But that's still good top 16.
Yeah.
But in his scenario, here's the interesting stuff, because it's kind of like you kind of and this is the issue. It gets to a point where you're just like, I don't know, like how when you know it's too far, are you doing too much? Are you just doing this? And what makes it sad, he's from New York. He's initially lived in New York, and they initially told him to move out there. So
they made him to move to Seattle or something.
It was Seattle.
No, he moved to California years ago, like 2 years ago.
And then he moved up to Seattle.
Yeah.
And now that he's dropped, that was his main source of income. So now he has to find a way to get back. And apparently, from what he said, he was paid hush money.
Yep.
To not saying that, but he was like, you know what? No, F it. I'm going to say this and this. This is how I feel, and blah 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 blah. Now, here's a fun question. They gave him 10 grand. Would you shut up for 10 grand? That's what you're going to give him, 10 grand.
Hell no.
10 grand. It sounds like a lot of money if you have rent and payments and stuff like that. That's like 3, 4, 5 months maybe. Depends how you stretch it. If you live with roommates longer, I don't know. If you're living by yourself, that's not that much. That's fine.
I like it. In actuality, probably no, but like I think it depends on. For me, because I know. Sometimes I feel like I'm selling. Sometimes, but depending on the situation.
I mean, I sell out every time I go to work.
If I was like this, I don't have my wallet on me. But if I went like this, say this is my wallet. If I went like this, and I see a moth fly like this,
yeah.
What?
$10,000. It'll hold you over for a few months. Yeah, if you're frugal with it, that can last 6 months if you live in the right area.
Exactly, and depending on what state you move to, like that could be a certain scenario. Like it's a tough call. Like,
but not in Seattle. That's
or what you need. It's a tough call.
In Seattle, that's maybe 3, 4 months. Maybe.
Yeah. So who knows? That was the next allegation. Then he got dropped from his team, and then that started a trend of like, well, what about this person? What about this person? We should ban this person. And the other person, for those who don't know, was Mike Z. And for those who don't know who Mike Z is the one of the creators of Skullgirls, actually.
Okay, let me explain this one. All right.
Go for it, Greg.
They were streaming some Skullgirl matches, right? And they was having a conversation game. And then this is basically like a week and a half after George Floyd, maybe. And he tried to make an edgy joke about not being able to breathe, right? But he bombed the joke. But everybody took it over and said, "Is Mike G as racist?" I'm like, dude, Mike C's just an idiot. Mike C's known to opening his mouth, right? He's not racist because one of his best friends is Sonic Fox and some other people. He just says things, and the community knows he just says things. He doesn't think before he talks. So like people are getting angry, and I'm reading Twitter, and everybody's being all sensitive. You know when people act oversensitive, you kind of roll your eyes. Like that's what I mean. I understand it happened like too soon, but like he bombed. But to like say things like, "Is he racist?" Like he's not. Like people, Twitter's being very drama queen. Like if you've been on Twitter, it's very.
All social media is drama.
Yeah, but it's.
May I just repeat what I've said 1,000 times in the past?
Go for it.
Social media is by far the worst thing that has ever been created in human existence. And if you believe me to be wrong, think about everything that happens in the world today. And then ask me, where does most of it derive from? And then look at your Facebook account, look at your Twitter account, look at your Instagram, even though that's not what Instagram is for. You people still use it that way. Look at your Instagram. Look at, what's the other one? Snapchat, right? Look
Don't
at your
forget my
Snapchats.
Black Planet account. Don't forget my Black
Yeah,
Planet.
if you're still using the Black Planet and your MySpace accounts, don't forget those too. And look how
Man, my
everything
Don't forget
MySpace,
my
always
TikTok.
man, is
derives
on
from that
fire.
nonsense.
I would say TikTok, but people, it's known that TikTok has Chinese spyware on it, and they're trying to ban it from U.S. and other countries because TikTok has. I know none of us use TikTok, but TikTok
Yeah.
has like Chinese spyware in it, and then they're trying to ban it. Yeah.
My daughter.
But the thing you mentioned about Mike Z though, if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure he also has a sexual allegation too. That was the other big thing.
It wasn't a minor. It was. I think he was like.
It wasn't a minor. It wasn't the situation like.
And it
some of
wasn't.
the other people
And it
were.
wasn't physical. He was saying like. I don't know if it was over a webcam, and I think he was cheating on his girlfriend too. It wasn't physical, but it was over like a webcam. He was saying some like lame stuff. Yeah, like that's what it was. It wasn't a physical encounter. I think it was over the web. Yeah, like over a webcam.
So it's one of those he said, she said.
No. And then Sonic Fox
he
basically
did
tried
say
to
it,
vouch
but-
for him.
Yeah.
On top of it, he's like, "Yo, he's not that kind of person." And this and then of course, the actual person came up about it, and then that's when things went off the rail. And that's when you got everyone. And then the Reddit post that happened like a couple weeks ago, where it was just like showing every single thing that everyone did, like Nairo, the Nairo Captain Zach scenario.
Mm-hmm.
He was underage. He was 14 at the time, right, Greg? He was 14, 15.
Oh, but it was it's still Nairo's fault. Captain Zach blackmailed him with something, but Captain Zach was 14. But like I don't know what Nairo did that a 14-year-old could blackmail you into doing some shit. But Zach admitted it himself though, so he
yeah, and Nairo's dropped from his team. Just so you know, he's dropped.
Oh no! Everybody's calling like my Nairo like a kid toucher basically, but he was. But I don't know for some 14. Like the thing is, did he know his age at the time? Probably did. That's the thing. It doesn't matter though. But yeah, he's finished. Captain Zach's finished too. They banned Zach because even though he was underage, he did blackmail somebody for sexual reasons.
Right.
But Captain Zach's done too. Zero is done. Basically.
Wait, what did Zero do?
Oh, he asked a 14-year-old to send him a picture of her masturbating. So he didn't touch the girl, but he asked an underage girl to do.
Zero.
Yeah, he's done. He's done. Overdone. Finish. Who else?
Esam got now here.
No, he's off the hook though. He's
off there. I'm about to go into this, and this is when because we're about to go into
Esam even up on the chopping block in the first place?
Okay, let me explain this one. Now, this scenario is a kind of a messed up scenario because Esam. So basically, they found a clip from like 7 or 8 years ago. That's how far back. And he was basically playing online with a couple friends, and you can hear in the background his friends are like black or African descent friends. And he said the N-word, but it wasn't like in a sense, even though in my opinion, you should never say the N-word, period. That's always been my opinion. But that's a whole nother topic for another day. But
your opinion, not mine.
Exactly. So basically they were talking, he said N-word, but it wasn't like in a way he was like, oh, F you, N-word. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just and when I saw the clip, but here's what they did. The person who found the video, they chopped it up to make it seem like he hated black.
Oh, they always do that. That's why you always need the raw footage.
Right, and then someone found the full footage.
This is the whole Hulk Hogan thing all over again.
Exactly. And this is the issue I have.
Are upset with the whole Hulk Hogan thing. I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. As a black person, I don't agree with you. I think it's the same scenario that happens every time. It's just like when you're in your basement and you're having a conversation with your buddy and you're talking. The only difference was that the person he was talking to was also filming him and being a dick. So, and it's not like he said anything racist. He just said he didn't want his daughter to marry a nigga with no job.
Mm-hmm. So if he had a job, I mean, he might have been good. He might be good.
Basically, she just didn't want him to marry because his daughter. You have to understand things about his daughter. His daughter technically has no real life skills, so he's just like at this point she needs to marry somebody with money.
So this is that Paris Hilton,
right?
The Paris Hilton, they were just there to share, but you need to get somebody who's smart,
right? somebody who's smart or somebody with a lot of money because she has a lot of, because she's very expensive.
She's very.
But he was just like, nah. If she marries somebody with no money and no job and no real anything, it's just. And granted, yeah, it did sound racist in one part or another to somebody. But as I sat there and looked at the context, it was like, it's not really racist. Sure, he said nigga one time, but he's in his house. It's not like he said it in public. This is him being recorded.
Right.
And it's not like nobody else does that. Because if that's the point, if that's the case, then we have to technically take every white person and scrutinize them.
Basically.
So everybody's a hypocrite. And but to me, like I said, not that bad. He just said he didn't want her to be with a didn't do. What's wrong with that?
Nah, how you know he wasn't talking about a white person and he just called him what the meaning of the word means, an ignorant person?
Oh no, he talked about the guy. He's definitely black.
I know. I'm just saying.
But
now and then the other scenario that happened recently. Now I'll get into the Hunger Box because the Hunger Box scenario is actually really new. And this one's a little interesting.
Whoa.
And then the other one, this is the one that caught me off guard. But in a sense, I was like, you know what? I can see him doing this. Okay. So this is the Mr. Wizard scenario. For those who don't know, Mr. Wizard is basically, at this point, the godfather Evo. There's no Evo without Mr. Wizard. Now, there's other people in his team that make stuff happen, like the Cannon Brothers, which are the new people to take up the mantle.
They
which
made
hopefully,
rollback netcode, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. Who basically made the best netcode ever lived, apparently.
And for some reason, they made netcode back in the mid 2000s. And no modern company can replicate their whatever. But okay, that's another story.
Right,
yeah.
But and if I remember correctly, Mr. Wizard, he was asking for pictures or something, or it was a couple things. You might explain more about that. So if you want to explain exactly what he got in trouble for.
Oh, this is bad. Okay, he's legitimately a kid diddler. Now I don't know if he touched these kids, but what he made these kids do is fucked up. He'll make them like. For like money or like tickets or something, he'll make kids take their clothes off, take pictures of them, like dancing like in water, and it's a very subjective way. I think did he admit to touching any of them? But yeah, I don't think
he actually touched them, but it was like I think he got pictures sent to him and all this stuff.
Yeah, minors,
all that stuff. So and because of that, Evo was actually about to be a week and a half from now. It got canceled altogether.
Yeah,
Evo just got denied altogether because of it, even though it's online. But,
now, Mr. Wizards has been completely removed from Evo, completely, and the two other guys who run it. What do you say? The brothers who made
they're the Cannon Brothers. They're the people who are taking up the mantle now, which I have faith in them. I can see them doing a good job trying to bring it back up the light, so I'm not too worried about that. But. And now for the new scenario. So this came up about a couple of days ago, actually. This is fairly recent. Okay. So the Hunger Box scenario, Hunger Box put himself on blast. He made a video a couple of days ago basically saying that I own up to what I've done. There have been times where I was back when he had a girl or whatever. I don't know if he still has a girl for now. But he was with his girl and he looked at women subjectively wrong or whatever. Or he cheated on her and this is like, this is this. And he basically went to a thing, tell him what I've done wrong, what I did wrong. I know it's wrong. Whatever happens to me happens. I just want to apologize, which is cool. I think more people should own up to it. But here's the thing that makes it really interesting. Besides, and no one, I don't think no one brought it up. I think he brought it up on himself, which I think is cool. Like if you did something wrong, bring yourself up to light, which you did wrong. Which I commend the guy for doing that. I didn't expect that. Now here's the interesting scenario. Everyone who has a story on him. He's been reposting the story on his own page. So they can have the chance to talk about what he did to them, which is cool, which I think is neat. I was like, own up for what you did wrong, and then I think that's a very interesting scenario, and I think everyone's been like, yo, and the cool thing he's saying, because this has been also an issue, like once somebody blames something for something, because there've been a couple of false accusations, which led to
there's going to be a good amount of those.
And the thing is, when you have diehard fans, say for example, I'm Michael Jordan, right?
Yep.
Say for example, somebody says, "Oh, Mike, you did this," blah blah. Who knows? Mike may have did said thing, but you know how the fans are. No, Mike didn't do this. F you, and they want to give him death threats and all this stuff. He said, like, listen, I know you're fans of me, but if you're a fan of me, you're giving death threats to the people who admitting I did something wrong. I'm blocking you, basically, or I'm wiping you off my page. Like, this shouldn't be like that. Like, trying to make it just because I'm this person don't mean if I did something wrong, I take heat for my action. And I thought that was a really cool thing he did. This happened about like 2 or 3 days ago with his scenario. So it's a really interesting thing in the list that's going on for like the amount of people that done stuff, have or haven't done, and false accusations. It's all over the place. Like the fighting game community and the Smash community, it's like in a whole crazy uproar right now, which everyone's like, they don't know what's going to happen now. And this is crazy, and this is sad too, because like right now, even though esports is like people saying it made the fighting game community soft, but I don't know if y'all know, it's probably not there now. I don't know if y'all know this. If you actually go on ESPN site, there's actually a category for FGC. Did you know that?
Yeah, they do. Well, they have one for all the competitive games, but they have one for FGC,
but that's saying something though. That's at some point people were actually looking into us.
What I feel bad for though is the Smash community, because Nintendo always was reluctant to support the Smash community. After this happened,
now they're just like, nah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, that ain't gonna happen now.
Yeah, and everybody admitted to it. They're like, yeah, that opportunity has been gone through the window. Oh, what's weird is after Nairo, Panda Global picked up the buzz, and he's gonna make the Panda Global tier list now. And you should see him on his Twitter with a smile on his face.
Oh, he joined Panda Global. That's kind of cool. I mean, the buzz deserves it. He deserves to be on.
Yeah, but no, like Nairo used to be ahead of the Panda Global tier list for the characters. Now the buzz is.
Oh, that's funny. I see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But it's sad that these little stuff, like, people can't. But here's the thing I think they should do now, because now that this is a thing, they should make it. Either they should find some way so this won't happen again. Because I know, I know there's sometimes you can look at someone, you can't tell their age, especially this day and age, you can't tell their age. And it comes down to the thing, like, I'm pretty sure you're responsible for asking them their age, but then they're gonna lie. It's a whole subject in itself. But fast forward to what I'm going to say about this. So does this mean at tournaments they're going to start having adults now? Like,
yeah, that's what they said.
Because I think they should have, like, everyone should be minimum 18 or older at this point.
Yeah. They said if you're a minor, FGC and Smash is saying if you're a minor, you need a legal guardian, not a friend, not a friend of a friend, not a friend of the family, a legal guardian to come with.
I believe it, and I think you should bring and if not, they should do like. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they should do like. I don't know. I don't know how to really sort this all out, but maybe what Dave and Buster does. Like, you go there between this time and this time. Then after a certain time, you're not allowed to be there or something.
Yeah.
But it's kind of
that would ruin like
the finals can go into like midnight, so it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's a really weird, sticky situation.
It messed up the youngins, man. It messed up the youngins. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you imagine getting DQ because you wasn't old enough? Like that's.
I'm sorry, man.
Like, can you imagine? Like, you're imagine like. Because MK Leo's not even that old. How old is MK Leo? I mean, he's older now.
Oh, but when he first started,
he was like, what, 14 or 15 years old? Could you imagine him being in finals for a tournament and he can't be there because he's underage for his finals? He beat all those people just to get DQ'd in finals.
Yep, and his parents ain't coming. He's like, hey, man, my mom, can you come with me? Like, no.
And they're where is it? He's not from Chile also, is he?
No, he's Mexican. He's Mexican.
Okay, I know he's from one of those countries.
He's in America right now, but he's still a Mexican.
Gotcha.
Citizen. Yeah.
But well, I mean, I'm curious. Where are y'all thoughts about this whole thing? Because this is a really crazy thing.
It happened. Okay, I was gonna say this earlier, but I said I was gonna get to it.
No, go for it.
Every industry, every community has this crap. It's just they haven't been caught yet.
Right. Like, I mean, I believe that. I believe that. It shouldn't be really a surprise, honestly, if you want to be surprised.
You know Epstein? Epstein. I know you guys all know who Epstein is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm pretty sure no one here believes he killed himself. Now, you know why? He had a bunch of billionaires, politicians, and important people. So they obviously paid off that jail some guards to to take care of the business, because that's a lot of important people with a lot of money and influence. He was gonna rat out. Like, come on, everybody. And then, they caught his girlfriend, right? And her girl, and everybody's saying she's gonna die in prison of a quote unquote suicide, quote unquote suicide. So
Did she die or no? Did she die?
No, she's in captivity, but everybody says like, I wonder how long before she commits suicide. Like,
quote unquote, basically, quote unquote. Yeah, and that's a whole another topic where people where a lot of underhanded stuff. I mean, JFK is a giant example of that, but that's a whole another thing.
Yeah. So, but Epstein, he ran a bunch of important people. Apparently went to this island and messed with like minors.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then because how did Epstein say he hanged himself with his own clothes with 2 guards watching him? I'm like, what? How does that happen?
No, it doesn't add up.
Now, wait. Were the guards watching them, or were they talking him through it?
Wow.
They're I said, these are billionaires, millionaires, politicians. They have money and influence. They can do corrupt stuff. It's not like.
Well, yeah, we know that, and it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of putting a balance in the between good and evil, because it's like, if you tell, it's like telling people the truth of what really goes on with the government or something like that. If you go into what they really know, like it puts everyone in an uproar. Like right now, what's going on is a perfect example of that. Like now, everyone's in an uproar. This is on a small scale. Could you imagine if they say, "Oh, by the way, we've been lying about 9/11. Jesus was black. Ronald Reagan's like." Could you imagine if they went through like a Boondock scenario of like straight telling everything?
Oh no, that's not.
Settle down, Huey. Settle down.
Everybody knows Jesus wasn't a white guy.
I know, but you get what I'm saying.
He was Hebrew.
Exact things. I mean, but you get what I'm saying.
A dark skin
Middle
Eastern Hebrew. Yeah, like a darker skin.
Right.
I think Mel Gibson did a good job of what Jesus really looks like. If you remember The Passion, that's
don't say that out loud. Don't give him a bigger head than what he already has.
Yeah, that's.
What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
I mean, hopefully,
so you saying I did a good job in the movie? All right.
But on a real note, though, what I do hope with all this stuff going on, and Evo and all this stuff, I hope it restarts, rebuilding themselves up as being better than it was before. Because this is a good chance now that Evo has been changed and all this stuff. This is a good chance to sort of rebrand, the whole community as a whole, so we can get a better depiction of what we are, what we represent, and what we try to do, and things like that. This is a good time to do it.
And everything else is happening in the world, you might as well start that now.
Exactly. So it's who knows when the next actual official tournament's gonna happen? I mean, there's tournament overseas that are going on, and which I thought that was an interesting era, because somebody posted up, the first offline tournament going on in a while, and people were like, "Man, are y'all crazy?" Dude, I was like, did y'all even read the facts? This tournament's in Russia somewhere,
Oh, where it's cold.
People jump the gun without knowing information. Hence why the one guy on Twitter got in trouble recently for blaming somebody for something that never happened. And everyone was like, "Man, this guy did this." And yeah. And at the end, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I gave wrong information." Now everyone looks like idiots. And now y'all, and this is the downside when y'all start falsely accusing people, even though this is why I hate the false accusation so much. When you accuse somebody of doing something wrong, say for example, it still passes, everyone finally figure out, okay, it was a lie. But some people don't know that. So they still have to go from place to place knowing that you did something that you didn't do. You see what I'm saying? Say for example, I told everyone that I punched somebody or whatever, right? And then come to find out, they found out I didn't punch somebody. But people who are still in the community knows I didn't punch nobody. But people who left out, they don't know. So according to them, they've been telling other people "Yo, such and such punch so and so."
Yep.
Or whatever, and they still have to live with that, which leads to the whole suicides and all this stuff and all this other crazy stuff. It's crazy. So, people don't realize how long lasting of effect that goes for everything. So it's not.
Jared, what he said though? He said didn't do.
Didn't do.
Didn't do.
Is there a reason why you held it though?
I'll let him finish his statement.
No. I mean the didn't do.
The way I said, the way Jason said it.
The way Jason did it.
I didn't say nothing fancy about it. I just said,
Yeah, that's right. Didn't do. I know. Didn't do.
Yeah, and why are we using Greg's line right now? Why? We're
Actually,
just stepping all over this man's line
it's
right
actually not Greg's turn. It's a derogatory term made by.
No, but it's his line. As
I
far
mean,
Yeah,
as
but
far as we're
Vince uses
concerned,
didn't do more
that's
than I
him.
do now.
I'm about to
Exactly.
say.
Jank uses more than I do.
Oh, so now it's my fault, go for you. Bring it on turn.
But you use it way more than I do.
See, I always blame the didn't do, man.
Petty light skins always stealing stuff from us, man. I don't understand.
He's not light skinned. Get it straight.
I'm sorry.
Camera angle right now.
Okay,
That camera angle show. I'm a lot darker than you, Christian. Look at that camera angle right now. Look how dark.
So how long did it take you to turn your contrast down to get that dark?
Oh, sorry. Let me get back in the light. Hold on. Let me get back in the light real quick.
He put
Man,
the
I'm
contrast on film 2. You know that setting film 2.
If I shave my
Lord.
beard, I look like a freaking light bulb right now.
Oh my god. No, you know what he's using? He's using that Resident Evil red filter. That's what he's using.
We're gonna give him that Justice League background, that dark Justice League color in the background. Oh man.
Oh man. But in all seriousness though.
Yeah.
First of all, since we're on the subject of falsifications and stuff like this, I look at this the same way I look at the Me Too movement and speaking out movements, and the other movements that follow just like it. There's gonna be a heck of a lot of false accusations that's gonna come out, and depending on the person, some people are gonna do exactly what we've already seen happen, where they go and they just, you know what? I'm not going to say I did. I'm not going to say I didn't. I'm just going to jump off social media. But unfortunately, by them doing that, even though they didn't do anything, but they don't want to argue with people all day by just like saying, you know what, I'm just getting off social media altogether. To everybody else, it looks like a admittance of guilt. And in the minute that happens, oh, he definitely did that. He definitely did that. Career goes straight to the mud for no reason. And then suddenly truth comes out, oh, he didn't do that though. But he can't get anything back. His rep's already been shot. His career's already over. He can't get it back. Like, there's no recovery. There's nothing for the pain and suffering that people go through from false accusations in any of these movements. So that's kind of the one issue that I have with these movements, is that there's no relief for the people who are innocent. Like, I get if you did it, fine. Whatever happens, happens. Cool. But if you're sitting there and you're getting your name dragged through the mud, and it's 1,001 people against one person saying he definitely did this, you lose all your credibility and everything. But then when the truth finally comes out that you didn't, you're still left with nothing. Like,
yep.
What can we actually do for those people?
That's true. Well, they tried to do that Angry Joe. You know what Angry Joe said? He responded right away. He's like, that woman's lying. You know what he said to shut her up?
What?
He's like, go to the cops and file a police report. Do it. And she didn't just say nothing. And then like everybody, oh yeah, she's lying. Because if he did what she said, she'll go to the police. He's like, what? I didn't do that. He's like, file a police report. I didn't do it. Like, he was confident. He's like, file a police report. I didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he responded right away.
Yeah.
So
I might say a lot of things about Angry Joe, but I respect him for that move. But
this happened recently, like 2 weeks ago. Like,
yeah, I'm sure it has been very recent. And then, of course, the other thing being that, okay, and this is the other scenario that I have on this side of the ship. Like, I think movies like this could be good, but at the same time, I still feel like a lot of it's handled the wrong way still. I feel like there are a lot of things that need to be handled better and not publicly put out there. Like, being able to talk about it with someone and try to get it resolved is one thing, but doing it publicly, like, there's just something, because especially if it's even regardless if it's false or not, doing it publicly and putting yourself in that position publicly for everybody to be in your business. I get that we want to do that to movie stars, and I'll even find that to be wrong because I feel like people who are famous are still people too.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't be all in their lives.
Nope.
But at the end of the day, everybody's nosy. So it is what it is. But, and yes, this is me saying this, and this is how I truly feel. So,
That's right, Nosy.
hey, I'm not nosy. I take care of you. And before you guys ask, yes, this is the second time I flipped him off during this recording. But I just feel like, honestly, like there are just some things that always needs to be handled behind closed doors, and it should not be made public.
Yep.
Like it just shouldn't be. Like there's a lot of other consequences to be had. I mean, yeah, sure, you could be like, well, you had your moment in the sun, this, and this. But there's a lot of mental anguish that you go through when you're dealing with these sort of situations. And for instance, there was a situation with somebody making a claim against a wrestler, and then the wrestler already got fired and everything, but the person who made the claim recanted.
Yep,
Now,
I know what you're talking about.
Yep. Now the issue is that wrestler is still fired, let go, and can't get back to where he was.
Oh, that sucks.
The lady has now been bombarded left and right with hate and threats. And this is the sort of scenario that can happen. Now, did she recant because her story was false? Or did she recant because she was threatened? Nobody really knows. But this is also
somebody else we know is going through that right now, too.
Yep. And this is part of that mental anguish stuff. Like, when you try to put it publicly, like there's already a huge mental thing just going through it without the publication.
Wait, didn't
when you
like
make it public, it's worse because people are
right.
venomous as hell on the internet, especially on social media. It's nothing but pure disgust. So when you do something like that, like you have no remorse. It's just they eat you alive.
Right.
So this is why I personally think stuff like this really is too delicate to be put in public eye. You need to handle it behind closed doors. Like this is not something to put up there for the public. If the person wants to make a statement at some point, they can make a statement. But when it comes from like the start to the finish of everything, I wouldn't publicate any of it.
I think, you know what I think it is though? I think here's the reason why people been doing it. Even though I feel like social media should be a way, and here's another thing that gets me. Social media I don't think should be a way for you to explain that something bad had happened. You should just tell the police or something, I guess. Yes. But I guess the scenario what's going on now, it seems like that the authorities are not really doing anything about it.
You need to file a report, that's why. You can't just say something.
Yeah, you can't just say something.
Right. But it seems like I'm just going based on what I'm seeing. I'm not saying that's the way to do it, but I'm just saying based on what I'm seeing, like the way people have been handling things lately, it seems like people are like, oh yeah, we need to do this, but we're not doing this. And I feel like I guess from their perspective, it's like the authorities not going to do it. We might as well just do this and this. Hence, I guess the riots and all this other stuff that goes on when it comes to everything. So,
well, again, that goes back to history, and I won't go over this whole thing again about
don't get me started on the riots
and all that.
Right.
We won't get into that.
I can tell you about the riots.
I mean, everybody could tell you about the riots, and if you believe everything that you hear about the riots, apparently Christian's been at least 4 of them, and I haven't been there.
At least 4 of them.
Everybody swears up and down. They saw me on the news, like, what were you doing downtown doing this? What are you talking about? I'm home with my wife right now. What are you saying?
It's just funny because I be seeing stuff on the news about. Remember the last time we had a riot? Before all this stuff happened.
Which one? The Baltimore one? The one that destroyed out to see? You talking about that one?
Yeah.
That's what did with Minneapolis. That's what happened.
And and the thing is, even with the other riots now, they saying the same thing. These are not people from them hometowns. They're getting paid to come down there to tear up the city and do all this stuff.
Because why would you destroy your own territory for? That makes no sense.
So that's when I'm like, you can't go based off what the news say. You got to get the facts first before you start saying, oh, I know him. He lives such and such. He's tearing this up. Really? That just could be somebody that looks just like him. and he lives over in 2 towns over or something. You know, you
I know a
can't,
little bit about lookalike. I have a twin that lives in the state of Maryland right now, and it's actually kind of scary to know that.
dude. I got multiple twins, and Serge, you know which one I'm talking about too.
Yes, I do.
Which is creepy as hell because I'm just
No relation, right? No relation at all, right?
No relation.
I just find it funny though. I just find it funny. I'll get into that later next time. But I just find it super hilarious when I saw him. I was just like, really, really, like that dude looks just like me.
Right. But
You continue. I'll finish. I'll say my
oh,
statements after
I was
that.
actually gonna go in the close if
I know.
I don't
I got
think,
some.
unless anybody has something else to say.
No,
I got something else to say.
That's basically the main points I said. I don't think unless Goat has something.
You got something to go.
Nah, it's just like any movement. Jank actually mentioned this. Like, they start off good, and then all the corrupt people come in and start lying, making stuff up, screwing stuff up. It's just
I mean,
like Mewtwo came out like it was legitimate. Then a bunch of lying women started coming in and started making false accusations.
yeah, that's what I was about to talk about. So
Yeah.
before we close out, so the thing that really gets me is everything that always starts out peaceful. It always takes that one person that's against it to say, "Hey, this is wrong. Why are you doing this? You should be doing this." And then all of a sudden, more people start getting on. More people start getting on. Then it turns into a whole. We hate feminists. We hate guys that are turning themselves into girls, or girls turning themselves to guys, or oh, you're a woman. Hey, you still don't have no rights. Stuff like that. And it's not just in the. I mean, it could be in your workplace too. Like, all right, now I got some issues going on with work right now. People are hating, and they'll make up rumors, but that's just the way it is. Because when people start hating on something that is good, because that person is bitter, and they like, oh, I should have been the one. I'm gonna use this, Serge. It should have been me
It should never be you, Dolph. It should
that
never be you.
did such and such, but this person's getting credit. So you know what? I'm gonna flip the script on them and make it worse on them because they're like, oh, they did that something good. Nah, they ain't do nothing good. Let me do this so I can make them look bad, and then just like politicians do the same thing. Oh, I'm doing good stuff for my town or something like that. So let's blame this person for messing up the previous person that was in charge and say, yeah, see, I fixed his problems. No, you didn't. You caused it, then you try to fix it, and then when it gets out of control, you can't control it no more. So the whole accusations on, like you said, Jank, if you come out ahead of it and say, I own up to my mistakes, I've done this, I've done that, that diffuses the fire that can come back at them. Now,
Right.
it might be something they might not be telling you the whole story because some people don't tell you every single thing.
Right.
But if you pretty much jump out ahead of it, you can diffuse it before they even start digging even more. Now, there's always going to be that one person that want to keep digging and looking for something. And like I said, if they didn't tell everything, that person is going to find it. But if they did, then that person is going to look like a fool trying to say, oh, y'all know he did this? Yeah, he already said it. But y'all know he did that? Yeah, he already said it. Or she. So, I just say...
That's funny you said that just now. You said she. Because in a lot of these movements right now, there are barely any females that are actually coming up. And the ones that are, they just seem like their cases aren't really being looked into. So, anybody who's like, oh, she did this to me is like, oh, she did what? Oh, whatever.
Right.
That's
nobody thinks a woman can do that. Yeah, nobody thinks a woman can actually do that type of stuff.
Which means that once again, equal rights are truly not equal.
Right.
So
I heard about it all the time.
I mean, Terry Crews was one of those scenarios. I mean, now he's under fire for a whole nother scenario.
Right.
But when they say when he got apparently toggled by the guy or whatever,
right?
everyone was like, that doesn't make sense. Terry Crews is the buff guy. And then Michael Jai White, I saw an interview with him about a week ago. This interview I think happened like when Terry Crews started talking about this, him getting touched by the guy and his private parts, and people were saying, why didn't you smack the guy? Why didn't you beat him up or whatever? And this and this. And he was like, and Michael Jai White is like, Grant, he's like, yeah, you're a big dude. And he was like, yeah, I'm a big dude too, but you gotta think about the difference to be me and Terry Crews. Terry Crews has something I don't have. When you look at me, I look like I'm gonna beat somebody up. Even if I don't know when you're fighting. I have that look persona where it looks like I'm gonna kill somebody. Terry Crews doesn't look like that. Even though Terry Crews is a buff guy, like if you look at all the
guy, he just looks like a buff friendly guy, yeah.
Exactly. Even though he always plays that so gangster guy, it's never like a serious gangster guy. It's always like I have a joke, I'm the cheeseburger guy, or I'm this or whatever. So when it came down to him doing it, people were like, well, he's super friendly. I guess I can do it with him, and they think they can get away with it. Now, you never see nobody do it to Michael Jai White, even if you cut out the fact he knows professional fighting. If you even cut all that out. If you look at Michael Jai White, if I didn't know nothing about Michael Jai White and I looked at straight him in the face, I'd be like, yo, that dude look like he'll mess up like 10 people. Like he look like his demeanor looks like I shouldn't mess with him. Terry Crews don't have that demeanor where it look like I shouldn't mess with him. He looks like a buff teddy bear, more or less.
And then another thing is,
not saying I'll mess with Terry Crews. Terry Crews is let's get that straight.
And another thing is though, yeah, Terry Crews could probably knock his block off. But then if that dude's gay, then he's gonna come back and say, "Oh, Terry Crews beat up a gay guy."
Yep. Exactly. Or the other scenario, and this is. I'm glad you brought this up earlier with the Epstein and people in power. That's the other thing. Like, granted, he may have did that to him. You don't know who that person is.
No.
Like, that person could have been some person who basically runs everything, and people like that can end your career like that. And that's the main issue here. There's so
when
much
they blacklist you
with
and
so much
everybody.
Power that they're abusing, that they can get away with anything. Perfect example, and since we're talking about FGC, the Echo Fox scenario. Red Fox was the main owner. A lot of people don't know. This happened like a year and a half ago. And this came back this year with more about it, and this is probably the last thing, I'll let this go. For those who don't know, Echo Fox was it was basically the dream, the all-star team when it came to FGC people had. Sonic Fox had MK Leo, like every single like first place person, Justin Wong. Every single like first place like Evo winner and all this. This was like the elite sponsor team, basically. And Red Fox, for those who know from the game, was the person, I think he was joint ownership or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think he was the main owner. Long story short, for a lot of people don't know, they disbanded between early this year and last year. And part of the reason was that the money wasn't coming in. So here's the story a lot of people don't know. What they don't know was the guy who's the executive producer, for those who don't know, basically the main person who sponsored him, the main sole sponsor guy, basically he was basically calling Red Fox N-word on multiple occasions. In the ignorant sort of way. And Red Fox basically said had no more. He's like, man, we're supposed to be partners. Stop telling me. He basically said, I can talk to you however I want. I do what I want, blah, blah. And he's like, Red Fox like, I'm not going to stand it. He's like, well, if you're not going to stand it, I'm backing out. Hence why it shut down. Which is messed up. That somebody you don't even own the company. Just because you have the money, you back, like, you can do stuff like that and still get away with it. Now, here's the crazy thing that happened this year. So people like Ernesto, people who don't know who Ernesto is, Ernesto does like, he's like the CNN of FGC. That's all he talks about. He talks about fighting game news, but that's all he talks about. And him, Gotex, which is another important person who does FGC stuff. A lot of people who are talking about this. Thank you. A lot of people were talking about this scenario and talking about what happened and everything. Shit, they actually got letters from the guys saying, if you don't take down this video, they're getting sued. Like, that's how crazy it is. Like, how crazy it is. Luckily, we didn't go too much into it. We just talked about the basics, that's it. But people were talking about what happened and everything. It was just like, he literally had enough time to go to these people and was like, yo, if you don't back down, I'm basically suing you. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's another person that I know. I watched a video the other day. Guy was talking about this one YouTuber that just came on, right? Like out of nowhere, they blew up so fast. So when he checked them out, and it was a female, and she's not bad, but she's not. It's not one of those things where you just sit there and just watch it for every single video, but
Right.
she's not bad. So yes, she is well endowed, and she does flaunt what she got. He made a comment. It wasn't bad. It was just like, it seems like this is what she's doing to get her fans. And
There's a lot of people like that. A lot of
right, right. So he wasn't saying he was like shaming her. He was just like, oh, that's how she probably got most of her fans. Okay, do what you gotta do. To do what you gotta do. She took it the wrong way. Tried to sue him. Tried to do this, that you slander her name and all that stuff. But I'm just like,
that's slander. That's more of like an observation.
Yep.
Right.
Slander is like when you lie about somebody or
Right.
you say something that you can't prove. That's
Exactly.
That's not slander.
and if she's a gamer, well, from what I can tell, but I'm just saying, I just see nothing but games, but all of them just look too damn neat. Like I understand neatness, but that is too damn neat. You can tell if you take one of the games out and play it, then you put it back, and no, it is like it just stays there. But how you gonna? How can you?
Keep going.
That's what I'm saying. Like you said, it's a thing versus he said, she said, and you're saying that this guy slandered you and started saying such and such things to you, you getting threats and all this stuff, but all he said was one thing. You seem like the type of person. Now, I'm not gonna say the words, but that type of person to get ahead. But he respects what you're doing because you're just starting out. So of course you're not gonna be super, professional. Like when we started, we wasn't super professional.
Oh no.
Man, we was in a house.
Wait, are we professional now?
And we're like 2% more.
What's the
As he
definition
calls
of
it.
Now what do you
That's
consider
subjective.
professional?
2% more.
10% more?
2%.
2%.
2%.
Not even 10. 2%. We're 2% more.
Because we not here every time, man. This Charlie Rona's kind of messing us up a little bit.
I'm working on it.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, and then once her fans got a quart of this, they started putting threats to him. So they got two different fans threatening each other. When even he made another video apologizing for saying what he said, but he didn't, and he explained that that's not what I meant. But you're getting upset about this, and the whole yes, Me Too movement went after all this crap and tried to sue him. She tried to sue him. He was like, I got more dirt on you if you're really trying to do this. After I apologized, we talked about it, and we thought everything was cool, but you're still trying to come back and sue me because other people are attacking you. I'm not attacking you. I'm not telling them to attack you. It's like I said, it's just crazy how everything happens in this world because of one little thing can spiral into something else. So
Social media is the devil.
Yeah. And for gamers in general, I'm not saying all gamers, some gamers is just not that social.
I'm gonna say in general that gamers, especially in our generation, I hate to say, are a bit touch sensitive. Just a bit. You're either a bit touch sensitive or you're a bit touch in the ways of being overly just toxic.
Aggressive? Yeah, I want to say aggressive type of thing.
Nah, toxic.
Just toxic.
Venomous even. Just you don't have a chill button. Like you're literally this guy on the other side of the you goddamn motherfucking knew I'm gonna fucking shit down your throat and I'm gonna come to your house and I'm gonna rape your mom and like that's you.
Yeah, like no chill. Yeah, no chill.
And those are people that got picked on in school and stuff like that.
Yeah, basically.
And then they let out their anger out on a video game.
Now I got
Which,
picked on. Now I got picked
which
on, but I fought for mine.
yeah, I'm gonna say I got picked on too. And I fought for mine too. But that's the thing. The people that are much older are toxifying the new generation, where a kid just coming in just to want to have fun, and then all they hear is "I'm gonna kill you, you son of the," and then they turn around and start saying the same crap to other people, and you be like, "What the hell is this?" Like, you can hear that mom in the background,
Yep.
and I'm sad to say it like this. Most of the time, it's not a black mom.
Yeah, most of the time.
Because
But
if you
I'm gonna say this though. There's a reason why the rating system exists.
Yep. And my daughter asked me for something. The mini boss roast. She asked me for something. I looked at the thing. I said, nope. She said, but Dad, I watch it on YouTube. I don't care what you watch on YouTube. You ain't playing it.
Now that's good parenting.
So that's what I'm saying. It starts young, and depending on, like I said, depending on the household, depending on surroundings, and most people say no, it doesn't have to do with it. Yes, it does.
It absolutely
That's
does.
when you're younger.
Yeah, it depends on where you come from. If you getting a silver spoon fed to you every single day, you're gonna think you're entitled to whatever. And if you struggling every day just to eat, you're gonna fight harder for what you want, even if you watch your parents, because you're gonna want to give back to them everything they sacrificed for you. But if you're getting fed a silver spoon, you was like, oh, once you die, I take everything anyway. And sad to say, that's what it's like in this world right now. So, and it's been going on for generations and generations.
I feel like we went a bit off topic there, but
Yeah, we went. Well, it's kind of not and kind of is, because even way, the gaming community is diverse. You got people that has money, you got people that don't have money. Either way, depending on where you came from, and that diversity is the way you act now. And mostly, and some of them, I'm not saying everybody, that we talked about might have done this stuff. Some might have not. You don't know unless you have all the facts. And that's the thing. It's three sides to every story, and only one is right. So, but that's all I gotta say. I went on to a little rant right there, but because I got a kid, and if somebody touch my kid, they ain't making it anywhere.
It'll be like every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where the daughter gets kidnapped. It'll be like you dying, or I'm going to prison, or I'm dying. It's either those scenarios that happen.
It's going to be taken. That's what it's going to be like. I have a certain set of skills. I will find you. I will kill you.
I have a certain set of skills that are dangerous for men like you. I will find you.
When did DH Knight come on here?
This is my mini shout out to him. I know it's not black enough, but it's as close as I'm going.
Hold on. Look a little bit closer into the camera. I think I see Adam shaking.
Shit. Went too far.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, anything else before we hop off of here?
Was an MK11.
All right, well. I just caught on that fast.
If you played Noob Saibot, he played the clone.
All right, it's time to go. All right, everybody.
On that
Everybody. Good night.
Thanks for watching. Please make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your friends. If you have anything that you want to discuss down in the comments, we'll talk back. We might not get to it right away, but
or
we'll
give
get
us
to
a
it.
topic that you want us to discuss with, and if
We
you
got
guys are
other
up
topics.
for a Light Talk live segment where you guys can communicate with us live directly, we will set one of those up for next weekend if you want.
Yeah, like I said, we got more stuff coming.
I don't know. I'm lazy.
Everything is kind of getting back to normal, so you might see us all in a room one day.
Yeah, it'll be a while.
Probably not right now, but but we're gonna try to get you content as much as possible. Until then, I'm Boss to the Ross. That's Serge above me. We got the Jank over there, and then we got no picture, no camera, the GOAT.
Yeah, no limit, no
The
picture.
one and only no camera goat.
No.
And that's Source in the middle. You see that right there? That's Source.
Oh, also, guys, if you like the little, tell us what you think about the setup. By the way, like, give us feedback. If you guys think that there's a better background, we'll be using a lot of different ones throughout all these streams that we got. If you don't like any of them, or you like one better than the other, or if you think there's one out there that would suit us better, let us know down in the comments. Or, send us an email at any one of the things below in the description. And don't forget to check out Jank's channels, where he's doing...
Jank's channels. That Jank,
Oh, wait.
the Jank right there.
Okay, yeah, no.
I'm doing I'm doing content on my channel all the time. Please like and subscribe. The Jank.
I don't even know where I'm pointing right now. I'm just pointing.
YouTube.com/BINTE69. So I get changed later on that line.
So don't forget to click right over there or down there.
Over yonder.
I'll make sure it's in the center. It'll be on top of the U and U.
It'd be that way. Which way? Hold on. This way.
That way.
That way. No,
way.
this way.
This way.
That way.
This way. Or this way.
This way.
This way.
It's somewhere.
This way. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, we out.